Griffin with the basketball, hands it off to Reddick, back to Blake Griffin, outside Barnes, three ball, bingo! Matt Barnes, second three of the game, and what a timely one that was.
It was a huge shot. The Beast 980. Big Shot Barnes, they called him last night. As Matt Barnes played very well for the Clippers, 20 points, as they get the huge win in Houston. An enormously surprising win considering that Chris Paul did not play, and they were led by Blake Griffin. Mike gave you the stat off the top, but let's just say it again. In the history of the NBA, there have now been 3 players who were not guards who have had consecutive triple-doubles in the playoffs. Wilt Chamberlain, John Havlicek, and now Blake Griffin. And let's consider that not only are Chamberlain and Havlicek among the greatest players that ever lived, but the guy whose career went later retired in the 70s.
Right.
So it's 40 years since we've seen this happen. And Griffin last night went for 26 points, 14 rebounds, 13 assists. He was playing great defense last night. He was spectacular last night as the Clippers get the win.
Here's a game where the Clippers were down 4 at halftime and then outscored Houston in the second half 71-51. And Blake took charge, bringing the ball up, distributing the ball, and then as Greeny just mentioned, I said before, playing great defense. But they got the help. So who gets inserted into the? Let's just look at the 2 games. Who got inserted into the starting lineup for Cleveland was Mike Miller, and it didn't go so well. Who got the start for Chris Paul? It was Austin Rivers. He scored 17 points. More importantly, 4 of 6 from three-point land. So he came in and gave a great performance. And from a backup becoming a starter, he certainly carried his weight and then some. This was the Blake Griffin show, but he got a heck of a lot of support from Matt Barnes, from Austin Rivers, and others.
Yeah, and others. J.J. Redick had a pretty decent night last night. James Harden had a quiet night by his standards. Really, the one guy played well for Houston was Howard.
Yeah, Dwight Howard, yeah.
He had 22 and 10, and he played 39 minutes, so you figure that's probably a good sign, but it was Blake Griffin's night.
Of course, everybody has to step up, but it's not one person's job. It's all of our jobs. I think if you look at the stat sheet and look how we played tonight, it was everybody. Jamal, Matt, DJ always, JJ, Austin. I mean, everybody's just stepped up and played, did their role, and that's how you fill that void of CP not being out there.
Team guy, I mean, what more are you looking for? So, fascinating question. I got a great one for you. Ready for this? I'll give credit to Steve Cerruti. Cerruti, from our staff, brought this up yesterday when we were talking.
That's one for him.
I think it's a good question.
Good job.
He brings ideas to the show every single day that he's been working with us now for almost a year, and he finally had a good one.
There you go.
Here's the idea. We looked at the 2009 draft yesterday, right? Because we were talking about Steph Curry when we were saying he was going to be named MVP, and of course, as the day went on, he was. And congratulations to Steph. Absolutely deserved it.
Great
His speech was phenomenal.
I mean, what he's doing with his car, all just great stuff.
We'll get into all that.
Yes, we will. Yeah.
But he was the 7th pick, and we talked about how the Timberwolves picked point guards 5 and 6 right ahead of him. Ricky Rubio and Johnny Flynn. How awful that looks now. Tyreek Evans went high in that draft. Hasheem Thabit went high in that draft.
Number 2.
But the first pick was Griffin.
Right.
The 3rd pick was James Harden.
Right.
The 7th pick was Steph Curry. If you were to redraft that draft right now, in what order would those 3 guys go? Blake Griffin, James Harden, Steph Curry. Curry was the MVP this year.
Yep.
Harden finished 2nd and had a sensational year. And Blake Griffin just put up back-to-back triple-doubles in the playoffs.
That's a great question.
He's the one big guy in the group, so you always sort of lean toward the big guy.
You do lean toward the big guy.
Even if his pro accomplishments right now seem lesser than those of Harden, who you forget was on the OKC team that went to a final as the 6th man of the year, played very badly in that final, but he was there. Steph obviously has emerged now as a great player and is a league MVP. But he's my size. Now, I mean, for whatever that's worth.
He's your size, but he's doing way more than a lot of. Even though he's a 7th pick, people thought great score.
I'm not saying no, but if you're picking right now, you're the GM. You have the first pick in the draft, and those 3 guys are on the board. Knowing what you know right now, who you taking first?
There's so much of me that wants to lean to the biggest guy. And what would be the best athlete of them
throughout
as
the
well.
history of basketball, they've been doing that, so you wouldn't be alone.
They've been doing that, but has that changed? Because look at the list of point guards that we have in the league right now.
It's a guard-driven league.
It absolutely is.
That doesn't mean, because a guy like Griffin, he's so athletic,
he can do so
mobile.
many things. Well, we saw he was playing point guard and he was guarding Dwight Howard. I mean, he's doing.
What more are you looking for?
That's exactly right.
Yeah, and he's still young and getting better. Now, well, obviously, they're all young.
They're all young. Came out together. Now, depends. Yeah, how old they were when they each came in.
Steph went to 4. I think Steph would be the oldest.
I think Steph would be the oldest.
He went to 4 years of college. Yeah. Can we get ages on those three guys, please?
I'm guessing he is as well.
Well, he went to 4 years of college. Harden went to Arizona State. I don't remember how many years he went to college.
Wow, Cerruti did it.
That's a
good question.
I'm making you the GM, and you were redrafting. Griffin is 26. I see them opening it.
There is part of me that leans to the athletic ability and the size of Blake Griffin that just says I'd still take him number one. Even though Steph Curry each year seems like he's going to break his three-point record. and Harden, obviously, with assists and scoring. Well, so Steph is 27, Blake is 26, and Harden is 25. Wow.
So they're all young enough that you assume that they may still have, they all might still get better. So the question is, what is the ceiling? Now, one of the differences is Harden's the best player on his team.
Yes, he is.
Curry is the best player on his team. Griffin is not.
He's not.
It doesn't mean he couldn't be.
No.
He plays with Chris Paul. I got their win shares. Among them, going back to when they got drafted in 2009, James Harden, his win shares are the highest, 63. Steph Curry, 54-ish. Blake Griffin, 51. But Griffin has really kind of, first of all, he was on the Clippers when they were the Clippers.
And then that team, we know the inconsistencies of that team, even when we looked at the talent, but they would play inconsistent at times. But we're just talking about an individual here.
It's a good question. I'll throw it out there.
It is a good question.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
We'll see what you think. As the morning goes on, we'll make the pick. But if you were redrafting that draft, Blake Griffin, James Harden, Steph Curry went in that order. Again, they went 1, 3, 7.
Where do you have? Can we make it a list of 4? Where do you want Hasheem to beat in there?
Well, he is big.
Yes, he is.
He does have size. Yes, I believe we could teach him.
You can't coach size.
Can't coach size.
Yeah.
He was.
They tried the D League, though.
He was in the D League.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Anyway, let's hear from you.
Sorry.
Mike and Mike presented by Progressive Insurance. Our guests.